Okay, so this is the roadmap to success for Riley, Cova, and Rocky, sorry. And I just want to go over a couple of things that we chatted about today in our behavior session. So the first thing I want to remind you is how we went out for a walk with Rocky and we used the structured walk method. Remember, we have that martingale collar that just slips over his head and we have the leash attached. I want to remind you to just use a flat leash like what we have attached to the collar, because that way it doesn't get stuck in between his ribs or give like any type of rope burn. So always use a nice flat leash just like the one that we used today. And if you want to watch like any tutorials, you can go to our website, dogonproblems.com, click on dog training tips. There's a little search bar, type in the words structured walk, and that will go over a video on how to put the collar on, how to do the leash setup around the belly and up through the collar. So you can use that to help make sure that you remember how to put it on. Remember to let him to go outside to go potty before you start the walk, because you don't want this to be a time period where he's marking every step of the way. You want to keep him moving and keep on going. That way you're taking that leadership position. And then also, as a little tip towards the end of our walk, remember that he saw some people coming up and he got kind of excitable. If he sees something that gets him that excited, just keep moving right along. You don't want to stop. If a dog stops, they tend to sit there and analyze too much, like, should I be happy, should I not be happy about this? And so instead of giving them the time to evaluate that, we just keep them moving right along. And then we discussed a little bit on how to help with Cova's chewing. He's still young, he's a puppy, he's only 8 months old or so, and so we want to go out into the Asian market, pick up some marrow bones or some neck bones, whatever types of odds and end bones like that. You can get them kind of in a bag. I personally throw them in the freezer because it makes them last longer. And I would give him one almost every day, as long as he's not getting sick from it. Give him one every day, maybe in his kennel as a break after going for a run or something. So that way he's getting his mind stimulated and he's chewing on appropriate things that are good for him. It's also great for flossing his teeth. So I'd give him one of those a day or every other day, depending on what you want to do. The other thing that I want to mention is it'll be important to get the German Shepherd's energy needs met, so we want to get them trying to go out for a run as often as you can. If you can get him out almost every day, even better. If not, try to bring him out to a dog park or get him out for a walk. You could even try teaching him to bike. Whatever you can to try to get them a good solid hour of getting their energy out. If you're running, you might not need to go out for a full hour, but if it's something less structured or less impactful, going out for a long walk like for an hour or so is probably going to be sufficient, and that'll help them calm down. The next thing that we went over is how to help the dogs listen to their female guardian. So that way we went over the video above this one. I want to refer you to that to go over how to get the dogs to be settled. Remember, whatever energy they have in their kennels, they're going to bring out of the kennel. So if they're full of energy and they're too excitable when they're in their kennel, you want to wait until they're calm and then you let them out one by one. Remember to let them compete for good behavior. So whoever's being the best behaved is the dog that gets to get out first. And then the next thing that we discussed is just a couple of body posture things. So I want to remind you that if they're by the door and they want to go out the door and they're not listening to you, stand right in front of the door and then square up to them so your shoulders, your hips are pointing towards them, and then ask them to sit. If you're blocking kind of what they want, you have control over that, the doorway, and then squaring up to them will help them listen to you and be more responsive. Because if they're over here and your body's posture is this way, when you say sit, they might not know that you're directing your attention to them. So turn your body to face the dog's head on, and that's how you'll get them to listen better. And remember to stand up straight. Women tend to have a natural tendency when we talk to dogs to lean towards them to get our faces closer. But when you're trying to get them to listen to you, remember to stand up straight, because dogs respect that type of authoritative position more than when you're kind of bending over and leaning towards them. And then lastly, we went over how to help the dogs kind of integrate into being with the family more and spending more time with the kids. And we want to put them on leash for a while so they have, between 20 minutes to an hour for the next month or so on leash, where they're learning how to be nice and calm. You guys have control over them, and they're learning how to be calm around the kids. The kids can be running around playing, and they know that when the kids are here, they should be nice and calm. You can also get a dog bed to direct them to go lay on the bed. Remember, we're teaching the kids that if the dogs are on the bed, they're off limits. That helps, ward off any growling, nipping, biting. Not that the dogs have done that, but it's a good way to keep the dogs to have a really positive relationship with the kids. So dog bed off limits for the kids, and it's also a great place to teach the dogs to go lay down when the kids are running and playing, so they can be part of the family, but they're in their own little secluded area where they're learning to lay down and be calm. And then lastly, I want to remind you that everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.